Urbanization and pollution have an effect on air quality also in smaller cities, while people in megacities are facing these issues every day. Vaisala is a global leader in weather, environmental and industrial measurement products and services. Improvements in sensor technology and increased computing capability has enabled the use of real-time data, for example in environment monitoring.
According to World Health Organization, air pollution kills an estimated 7 million people worldwide every year. What kind of role monitoring air quality could play in the solution?
Kind of continue from there, those kind of pretty serious numbers, and it's not only about the number of deaths. It also actually has a major impact on our kind of life expectancy if we live in a major city and in a polluted environment. So it actually is very meaningful and it is a highly important topic for us all. And when it comes to really the monitoring piece, which actually leads us, that's pretty passive at the moment. And we should really consider that actually how we manage the situation. And I would say in the core of the issue and problem is that as humans, we are unable to act when we don't see, we don't hear. And that's basically in the core of the problem when it comes to poor air quality.
What do you mean by being very passive with monitoring?
It's kind of, I would say it starts from the regulation. So we always talk about when the regulation goes to the air quality monitoring. There's no guideline or legislation in place for managing the air quality. And for a simple reason, there hasn't been a tools and mechanisms to really actually actively manage the air quality.
So monitoring air quality, let's say real time, has been a problem so far. What has changed now?
Quite many things has changed, I would say, during the last 5 years. So there's been kind of more affordable observation technology coming to the market, which enables us to actually build denser networks. And taking this data and bundling that together with the state-of-art modeling capabilities, and that actually really enables us to start, I would say, creating a real-time high-resolution maps, for example, what is the air quality city at the moment. And it actually varies even in a Helsinki, which is a very clean city when it comes to air quality in general, but there are areal differences.
So the old technology made it possible to read the history data, and now you're going real time, but not just real time, but you're also predicting like 48 hours or even 76 hours ahead.
Exactly. So basically then there you need also very strong capabilities in the weather. And that's, I would say, very unique in Vaisala, that we have capabilities in the weather. We are very well known when it comes to really weather observations. We are the company that supplies, if not, but almost to all met agencies in the world to the observation technology. But also recently we've been kind of entering in the business-to-business side, supplying high-resolution weather forecasting. And that's what actually you need for forecasting air quality in high resolution as well. So we have this type of, I would say, assets in-house where we can actually assimilate and aggregate different kind of observations and data feeds and then generate this kind of high-resolution forecasts when it comes to weather and air quality.
So what's the use case for ordinary people in urban areas? For example, in Helsinki, you have been doing measurements in Helsinki with the inner city air quality. What would be the use case of that for ordinary people?
For ordinary people, for example, I was amazed that having that data available, that actually there are so big areal differences, and it's not only areal differences, but it's also kind of time differences. There's a big difference, even in the suburbs. I usually wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have my morning run. And there's a big difference if I do that run at 6 o'clock and binding on the weather, that kind of what is really the air quality in the area. So I might choose a different route for the running, for example. And that data is now available there online in the website of HSY, which is the local regional EPA. So they really disseminate that kind of information. And it's really useful. And now it's just a question of that how we actually really take it to the next level, that it's even more visual, that we all people and citizens that are living in the city are able to actually utilize that information, and we might not even need to always use the phone app or have an info screen. It's that it needs to be in a way available that it then drives our acting and how we behave.
So let's go into this technology that we have here. Now we're talking about a combination of hardware and software, but what kind of tools are there to do those measurements, which are pretty accurate?
To summarize, this kind of small unit, this actually all provides you observation information of 6 different parameters. And these are, I would say, the standard air quality parameters that are monitored also in the reference grade monitoring stations. So to be able to observe all these different parameters, you need to have a different technologies packed in a very small and concise size. So you need to have a lot of engineering know-how when it comes to electronics, mechanics, but you need to also have a really good know-how on chemistry. You need to have excellent know-how on, for example, the optics. And I would say that's really, again, in the core DNA of Vaisala when it comes to remote observations, optics. We have a product family is built around that kind of core capabilities, which are already utilized, for example, when we observe the road state condition, etc. So we are utilizing the same core know-how, but in a different product and in a bit different form.
And the science inside that box goes away like decades. Like it's innovation on top of innovation and scientific discoveries on top of scientific discoveries.
Exactly. So like kind of we are really proud in Vaisala that we have over 80 years of history behind us and really science-based innovation being really, I would say, the key driver in the kind of, I would say, in the DNA of the company. So there's really plenty of accumulated know-how on different innovations in different areas when it comes to really kind of environmental and weather observations.
But air moves quite freely. And if we measure air pollution in urban neighborhoods, and then people in the city council try to make decisions, or whoever they are, probably they argue of where that pollution is coming from. Is there any help from these devices to that problem?
That's a very good question, and basically there is. This takes us back to the kind of earlier talking about that there are different type of, for example, particles and different type of gas components in the air. Some are really long transportational, some are kind of doesn't really transport long distances. And also the size of the particle gives you also in a way indication of what might be the source. And if you have good GIS database and know-how and understanding what are the basic emission sources in that area, you can actually start tracking where these pollutions are actually coming. So there's, for example, I'm not able to provide you a location today, but there's one case which we are piloting where there's a smaller city and larger city, which is the larger one is actually more industrialized, and the smaller city, they have a serious air quality problems. But unfortunately, with the tools that we have at our hand, we've already seen and demonstrated, or we have at least pretty good understanding that what are the root causes. And basically, in the smaller city, no matter what they would do, they are not maybe able to really improve the air quality. The problems need to be in a way taken care on the other city. But having this transparency help us again to sort out the issues, because now it's been really kind of, it's not visible, and it's so easy to argue that it's not me and it's that one, and he's the source of the problem. So getting all this transparency and high resolution in air quality helps us to actually drive the kind of better tomorrow, because you can't hide it anymore. It becomes in a way visible. Without these innovations and investment on this, there wouldn't be a better tomorrow. So we definitely need to be involved in this.